Hi everyone. In this presentation, we are going to see about Jdbc. So, in web technology, Jdbc is very important. Okay. So we will see that one by one. First, we have to understand one thing here. In web technology, usually what happens? So when we browse, okay. So we will be having the database in the cloud somewhere, and we will be having multiple systems. From this multiple systems, we will access the from the multiple system, we will access the database. Okay, and we can access the database from the multiple systems, but directly we cannot access it because we need something called as softwares. We have we need something called as softwares, which makes a connection between the client and the database, which is in the server. So by using software, we are going to make the connection. Okay, we are going to make the connection. Okay, to make the connection, why we are making connection? Because we have to access something from the database, from the client to database. From client to database, we are going to make the connection. From database, we will get the data. And when we want to make any alteration into the database, which means in database, what other things will be available? Data will be available. In the data, if you want to make any modification or update or anything to be altered, everything can be performed by the client through the connectivity software. That connectivity software is nothing, JDBC. Okay, JDBC. Actually, the expansion for JDBC is Java Database Connectivity. So here, we are going to make a connection by using JDBC from client to database, which is in the server. And we are going to perform the smooth transition. Okay. So here, the JDBC says that it contains some concept used to develop application. So we are going to develop an application by using the concept of JDBC. That application is going to make a connection to the database from the client. So this is client, this is database. So the JDBC is going to act as an intermediator between the client and the server. Okay, this is the overall idea about JDBC. Okay. Okay, now let me clear the screen quickly. All right. So here we have one statement. The statement says that JDBC is the intermediate between Java application and the database. So that you can see here, this diagram you can draw in the examination. Okay, so use pencil and scale for this. Don't make it rough draft. Make it as a rough draft. Okay, so which are the applications, which means which are the languages we can use to make the applications in the client side. So we can use JSP, we can use core Java, we can use applets, and we can use servlets to make the application. That application, nothing, software application, both are same. So we are going to develop it. That we are going to put into the JDBC. The JDBC is going to execute it. Okay. So whatever language we use, scripting languages we use, first step, here you can see, we have to import the packages. Second step, we have to load the drivers. Third step, we have to establish the connection. Fourth step, we have to create the statement. Fifth step, execute the query. Sixth step, process the result. And seventh step, closing the connections. So what happens here? When we write the code in the Notepad, or you can use Eclipse also, when we write the code, first we have to import the packages. So packages, if you want to import, from where we will import? From library, we have to import the packages. The packages which has some functions which is related to connectivity, or which is uh, related to perform some operations, everything will be there inside the packages. So if you remember Java, so you'll be knowing this thing. So in Java, we know import Java something. Import is a keyword. Java is a, here you can see Java is the API. SQL is the package. In SQL package, we will be having some functions and methods. Some functions and methods. Okay. All right. We will come back to this area later. Okay. So now in the client side, we have applications. In the database side, we have MySQL, Oracle, SQL Server. So these are the service providers we have. So these are the service providers we have in the database side. So these are all service providers. They only going to provide the service to the client. Okay. So where we are using this thing? We are using for any online portal like Amazon. We are using for Amazon, or we can say Flipkart and Amazon Prime Video, online streaming portals, and wherever you are able to browse, there and all, this is going to be implemented. Okay, all right. Specifically in organizations. So if you have one company organization, both are same. If you have one company, for your company, there will be many servers. There will be many servers. For example, let me make here many servers. This servers gives service to your company. Okay. If you have multiple company, so company one, company two, company three, so organization one, organization two, organization three, which is belongs to one person. Okay. For all branches, these are all branches, it is going to access only the server what you are using. So many servers, many companies. Many companies means not different companies, same company which has many branches, that is going to access data from the server which we have taken for the rental. So here for managing records and all, what we need some operations. So if you remember DBMS, select command we have executed in practical, create command you remember, update command you remember, deletion command you remember. These are the commands we will use for what? To perform the operation in the records or in the tables which we have in the database, correct? So this is the thing, it is going to happen, that is implemented by the what? The JDBC. Okay. Uh, now, let me talk about the features of JDBC. So what are the features of JDBC we have? It is standard API. So standard API means, we know what is expansion for API, application programming interface. So which provides some features which is used to develop the software. Okay, so that feature will not be available in some other languages. So Java provides some standard APIs. By using that, we are going to develop the application. So other languages like Python is popular only. It's for AI. Okay, Python, and we have C. We have some other languages also. In that and all, we don't have standard APIs. We have standard APIs in Java only. Second case, it is independent API. Independent API. You know, Java is platform independent. Platform independent. What is the meaning in that? So when we write the code, after that we will compile it. When we compile it, it will generate bytecode or class file. So bytecode or class file. That bytecode we can copy and we can run in any platform, which means the any operating system. So we can run it in Windows, we can run it in Linux, we can run it in Mac also. So that's why it is platform independent. What if it is platform dependent? Platform dependent means the bytecode which is generated in the Windows that we cannot run in Linux. That is platform dependent. The bytecode which is generated in Linux that will not be executed in the Mac OS. This is platform dependent. What is platform independent? We can generate the bytecode in any one of the operating system. That bytecode is going to run in all the operating system. So that's why it is called as what? Platform independent. That is the third point. But second point also the same thing. It is independent API. For API, it is independent and it is also a platform independent technology. Actually, JDBC is a technology. By using that, we are making the connection. Coming to fourth one, CRUD operation or SCUD operation. CRUD operation means C stands for create, so that we have here create. R stands for retrieval operation. U stands for update operation. D stands for deletion operation. Similarly, here we have SCUD operation, so select, create, update, deletion. So for each and every letter, we have expansion here. All right. And you know very clearly we have executed PLSQL also in the DBMS. So what is PLSQL? PL stands for procedural language. SQL stands for structured query language. In that we have some operations, reuse, triggers, cursors, this and all we have executed, we have done in practical also. Okay, these are the features available in JDBC. Okay, in the examination you can elaborate these things. Okay, all right. Let me clear the screen quickly. It seems like okay, all right. Now coming to steps to connect database JDBC. So what are the steps we have to follow? First one is we have to import the package. When you write the code, consider this is a notepad. In this, we are going to write the code. First, we have to import the package. So for all these 7 points, I have here all the breakup 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, and 7. I'll tell you later at the end of the video. So importing packages, first we have to import, that should be the first line. Next, loading the driver class or objects. So importing the package that we have here. So we have to give import keyword space Java API dot. Java is an API, okay? SQL is the package. In the package only everything is available. For example, for name is a function or method which is available in the SQL package. Okay. So if we want to use for name, then we have to use SQL package, and also it's available in Java X also. Okay. All right. And now first we have to import the packages. Secondly, second point is loading driver class or objects. You see, once we import the packages, next step is we have to load the driver. From where we have to load the driver? From library, Java library only. Okay, so packages we are going to import from the Java library. Drivers we are going to import from the Java library. Why we need drivers? You see, uh, sometimes in class itself I have mentioned that process. If you remember this thing, process. A process is nothing. It is for example, Word document. It is a complete process. In Word document, consider this a Word document. In that, we will be having several options inside. Once you select anything, it is going to produce one thread. Thread is nothing that is called a sub-process. So a process will be having multiple sub-process. Similarly, to perform some internal task, we need drivers. We need drivers. For example, if you're writing something into the database, some drivers will be invoked that will be the responsible that is going to be responsible for that particular operation it is going to perform. So drivers we have to load from what? From where? From library. Okay. Third point, establishing the connection. So we have to establish the connection. So third point, if you see, connection is the class, followed by that con is a variable. You can put anything here, that is your choice. And equal to device manager. So device manager, it's a class. In that class, we have get connection. So get connection is a method which takes three arguments. First one is URL. URL we have to mention wherever connection to be connected. Okay, that URL we have to give. Next, username. UN means username. PW means password. These all arguments are separated with comma and enclosed with what? Double quotes. All right, this is the third point. Fourth step, create statement. See, after this all things, which means importing packages, loading driver, class or objects, after that connection we are going to establish. After establishing the connection, we are going to create the statement. What are the statements we have? So if you want to update anything into the database or in any operation to be performed, this all statements we have to uh, do in the fourth step. So what is the syntax for that? So statement is the class, followed by that st is the variable, and followed by that equal to con. Con means what? The variable of connection that we have to take here. Dot create statement is the function. Okay. So create statement if you give, after this only we are able to give queries. So operation will be performed by using queries only. So queries, you remember, select query we have, and create query we have, update query we have, deletion query we have. Once we declare this one, then only this all things are possible. These all things we have where? We have in the fifth step, execute SQL query. So by using st variable, we are going to write the queries. That query is going to execute in the fifth step. So fifth step is what? Execute SQL queries. So execute update. See, for example, I have given execute update, execute query. So execute update means all CRUD operation will be performed. CRUD operation, create a retrieval of data, updation of data, deletion of data. Okay. Data, or we can say the entire row, we can perform some operation. So consider this is a table. In this table, we will be having multiple rows. If you want to alter something into the row, that we can use any one of the operation, or all operation can be performed according to your wish. Secondly, uh, execute query. So execute query takes only the selection operation. So which table name we mentioned, that will be selected, and in that we can view the data. All right. Okay. Now we have seen all. Okay, 5 points we have seen. Sixth one, process the result. See, process the result in the sense, once we perform CRUD operation, it is going to CRUD operation, each and every command is going to give some output. That output is nothing, process the result. The output will be, for example, if you perform update operation in any one of the tables, which is in the database, so we'll be having multiple tables here. The result will be what? Two rows affected. Sometimes you might have seen when we do practical in DBMS, two rows affected, five rows affected. And so the result will be what? It will be in the integer value. It will be in the integer value. 10 rows affected, like that you might have seen. Okay, so that is nothing. Process the result. Coming to last one, that is seventh one, closing the connection. See, why we have to close the connection? Actually, when let me take this picture only. When we browse something into the database, okay, connection is established, that we know already. Once the connection is established, we are going to communicate with the database and the client system. So when we are transmitting or retrieving data, so there will be something called as data rates. So once the data rate is, so data rate means nothing. Number of bits per second, number of kilobits per second, what we are using when we use internet connection. That time what rates we are using, for that only we have to pay, right? So this is for normal mobiles, it is okay. But when an organization is doing something, the data rate will be high. The internet speed will be high. And the data rate is high, definitely the usage of internet is going to be high. When the usage of internet is high, then obviously the cost will be high. Okay. If you are running multiple companies, okay, as I said, multiple organizations, the cost you think every day how much it is going to come. That's why we have to use what, closing the connection immediately once the task is performed. Okay. So close connection. To close the connection, we have something called as that statement. I will write here. I don't have space. Let me clear this quickly. Hold on. Yeah. Let me write that code here. Only one line we have to include in this. Um, yeah. So here, to close the connection, what we need, so where we made the connection by using this variable, con variable. So con variable we have to take first, followed by the dot operator, and followed by that, we have something called as function. That function is called as close function, close, open bracket, close bracket, and break it. That's it. So if you use this one, the connection is going to be disconnected. So connection will be disconnected after this statement. So we can save some cost. Okay. So these are the 7 steps we have to follow. 7 steps we have to follow for the to connect to the database by using JDBC. Okay. So this is all about JDBC. So in examination, if you see any question related to JDBC, you can give this answer. I feel 90% you can expect this question. Okay. So you have to watch this video and you just refer some points from the PDF also what I have sent for fourth unit. So that also you just combine it and you make one answer. Okay. Both are same, but some differences are there. Some steps I'm not included in this. In this, about the JDBC overview and some internal things we have seen. So a PDF, you take some points. In this also, we can use, you can answer briefly in your examination. Okay. Thank you.